I have a hot take at that, and one that if a certain group of people within this community heard me say would probably want my head off, but I'm going to say it anyways. I don't think that the LARPers that have come to ReZero are all that bad. In fact, I actually think this is a net positive for the series, and I'm going to explain my thoughts and rationale behind that within today's video. So if you enjoy ReZero, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get right into the video. Now, Barney, you may be saying, what the hell are you talking about? These people are insufferable. They LARP the aura monster, they LARP the stairs, now they have the whole happy birthday Daniel thing. You know, you may be thinking about, okay, well, I miss the old ReZero. I miss our old fun jokes, our community that was in tune, you know, so on and so forth. You know, how could you enjoy these LARPers, these people who haven't even like probably read the source material? And well, that's a very good question, and you do raise a very good point. On one hand, I do agree that these jokes do get stale very quickly and that they are quite annoying after a while. But on the other hand, I beg the contrary that this is just the typical, I guess you could say, cycle of any internet fandom literally ever. Name me a fandom that does not abuse the same 5 jokes over and over and over again. I mean, you guys, all my mind goes to is JoJo fans, Jesus Christ, or Evangelion fans. It is the same jokes, and it's been the same jokes for decades upon decades. So if you're complaining about Aura Monster and all that type of stuff being around for that reason, no, there's no surface to that argument. That is just internet culture. That's how things go, you know? And if anything, this whole Aura Monster and Natsuki Daniel era, at least in my opinion, is definitely a bit of a breath of fresh air. I mean, for a couple of years now, we have just had LARPers who aren't appreciating the series because of, you know, Subaru or anything having to do with him. They LARP the if routes, or they would go ahead before that, and it would just be, you know, I guess you could say the REM stands and the REM fans. We had that joke, that goddamn REM joke, for 10 years straight, I swear. And people are acting like this is like crazy that, you know, the Natsuki Daniel or the Aura Monster thing has been going on for a couple of months. This is still fresh. This is brand new. This is going to be here to stay. So you either gotta live with it, adapt with it, or go ahead and move on. But on a more serious note, I do think there is actually a critical and definable reason as to why I think the LARPers is, you know, good for ReZero as a whole, and it's a bit contextualized, but I mean, you have to look at the broader picture of ReZero as a series as a whole. I mean, and what this means for the series. Yes, it is undeniably annoying when these people come to our show, and I guess you could say hype up one moment that, as we all know, I guess you could say the stair scene is, like, it's a cool scene within the novels, obviously, but it's obviously not the most monumental or impactful scene within the series. It is a bit frustrating and a bit annoying, but what that does for us is that puts a highlight on ReZero. We are extremely lucky right now. I can guarantee you with tomorrow's episode, there is going to be a large faction of people who go ahead and watch that episode who haven't even watched a single episode of ReZero before and are just going to watch it because of the jokes and because of the Aura Monster meets. And I can bet you a million bajillion bucks that there is going to be a good amount of people who are going to witness the peak that is Arc 6. Arc 6, I'm crying, Arc 6, even if it's extrapolated within its own episode. And they're going to see that episode and they're going to think, okay, well, maybe I should give ReZero a try. And I know a good amount of people are thinking, okay, well, why would I want these new people, especially these new people who are going to LARP twice an episode, to come to my fandom? And that's because people can change, okay? Just because, you know, they do that for one episode, they don't know the peak that's within ReZero. So giving them a glimpse through this episode and through this moment and this time to shine is, in my opinion, a great opportunity. And the fact that we have this during what is considered the best arc of ReZero, and on top of that, what is considered some of, if not the best moments within the best arc of ReZero, is, in my opinion, just a blessing. Like I said, there is going to be a large faction of people who watch this episode that comes out tomorrow, or, you know, hear all these jokes and these memes, and are going to actually give up the series and, you know, give it a try, which obviously, you know, there's going to be a few who don't like it and, you know, are going to drop it, but who cares? Those people weren't meant to be here to begin with if that happens. But there's also going to be a good faction that is going to continue to support the series and see what it is on a larger note, and, you know, see how important it is on a grander note. And my broader point with all of this is that, you know, these new fans, these new people that come in, even though they may be annoying, which honestly, they could never be worse than the people who spam the Who Rem jokes. No one is ever going to top that. I don't care what new meme or joke comes from ReZero within the future. The annoyingness is never going to top that. It literally can't. My point on a broader scale is that this is going to make ReZero more popular, which I know elitists right now who don't like their series and all that sort of stuff to get popular are probably shivering in fear, but overall, it is objectively a good thing for ReZero. What do you think that means? If ReZero is getting more popular, if it's getting more attention, all this sort of stuff, that means that it's being more stuff bought, the sales are going up, the views are going up, so on and so forth. And this is going to consequently obviously lead to, you know, I guess you could say it getting more seasons, because we do live in a capitalistic societies, and if they see money, they're going to produce more. And that's just the way things are and how the industry is. So in my opinion, people, I guess you could say within this fandom or in general, need to learn to, you know, look at a bad scenario and be able to extrapolate the good from the bad. Is it bad that ReZero has LARPers and people who are pretending to read future arcs and, pretending to do moments, even though most of it is obviously not within a serious sense? There's not many people out there who are legitimately claiming to, read this stuff and, put out false information, even though they do exist. They definitely do exist, especially the if route people. That era was horrible. Oh my God. Ignore all that, or I guess you could say not ignore it, acknowledge it for what it is, but then be able to look around and see about how many people are going to hear about ReZero because of the Natsuki Daniel or because of the Aura Monster, so on and so forth, and be able to actually get this series and indulge in it and actually see the greatness that it is, and allow that series to not only have an impact on their life, but allow them to have an impact on that series, help with the sales, help with the views, which is ultimately going to benefit us as the fans, as this is going to make Karikawa and these big production corporations see that, okay, well, ReZero is popping right now, it's very popular, let's make more seasons, so on and so forth, which obviously is something that we all want. Like I said, it's very easy to get wrapped up in the mindset to, have your niche interest, even though ReZero is very much not niche within the anime industry, not wanting it to blow up and have broader people come in, so on and so forth, but at the end of the day, it is ultimately going to be a good thing for that series and a good thing for you as the consumer in the overall, product, I guess you could say, cycle. Furthermore, more people actually hearing about and seeing the series is going to lead to more people wanting to actually check out the source material. While a good amount of people do objectively go ahead and see ReZero as a web novel and a light novel and not a manga, and then just go ahead and throw it away and never look at it to begin with, there is still a good amount of people that also do hear that and are able to read a book, which you would be surprising how many little people can do that nowadays, and check out the source material and consume it them, and then maybe we can get good content from them, and so on and so forth, and it grows the community within a positive manner. I think it is always a good thing when more people are coming around, especially when they actually go ahead and watch the anime and are able to then go ahead and read the source material. And to which a common rebuttal I see is, why do you care if it's doing well? Why do you care if more people watch it? To which that is a very good point. And it's because, I guess you could say we're human. It's a community-based topic. It's a community-based thing, it's good to interact with more and more people and actually hear, differing opinions on what's going on. It's fun. It's engaging. That's the best way I could put it. And I guess you could say a rebuttal I have to that is, why do you care if the series is blowing up and gets more popular? Is it because, it's specially correlated to you, or you think it, makes you unique in some sort of way? And so when more people do it, you lose that uniqueness factor. I don't know. I don't really get that mindset and that argument. And I think people genuinely overreact when it comes to, I guess you could say, the LARPing issue and so on and so forth. Even I have done so within the past. There has definitely been moments where I will see somebody say something stupid. The only one that seriously gets me is the if routes ones. I cannot stand the if routes ones. And, everyone has their own pet peeves, but when people LARP the if routes, that drives me insane. But, a lot of the time, some people will genuinely just, get things mixed up, or, some misinformation will get spread. I myself am not perfect. I get things wrong sometimes, even within my videos. So never take my word as law when it comes to ReZero. I'd say I'm a decent source, but I'm definitely not, the undefinable proven source of all ReZero information. And no one is, except maybe Ice, obviously, because that guy literally knows everything about ReZero. But yeah, my point is that, people need to learn to, I guess, have more fun within this fandom and fandoms as a whole. And you could say this video is a bit arbitrary and a bit silly, because this is obviously just kind of like a common discussion across any fan base, literally ever on the internet. But I kind of wanted to give my own opinion regarding it within the ReZero community. And, the frustration I see when I see people, kind of deject and try to push away new people who are interested in the anime, or maybe, ask stupid or silly questions and so on and so forth. Like, I think a common one that I see a lot is people will watch the first, I guess you could say, couple episodes of ReZero and, go under the misconception or the guise that, Satella is Amelia, because Amelia claims her name is Satella, because, they didn't catch on that Amelia was lying, that, Subaru or whatever, to push Subaru away. To which, I could never hate on somebody for making that assumption, because I know myself when I was young and I first watched ReZero, I made that assumption myself and I thought it was very weird and so on and so forth. So it's a little frustrating when I see people be so negative towards newcomers within the community, or negative towards anime onlys who, don't really know what's going on or have an idea as to what the novels have going forth within them. And like I said, I genuinely think this whole Aura Monster and Natsuki Daniel thing is a blessing. How lucky are we that we have so much attention on our series during the best moment within the best arc, or I guess I shouldn't say the best moment, because there's a couple better moments within Arc 6, but one of the best moments within the best arc of the entire series. That is genuinely insane. Most series and fans of series would, I guess you could say, like, grovel to have an opportunity like that. So for this whole meme and this whole entire, I guess you could say, thing to come up at such a pivotal time within the series, I think is such an amazing thing. I'll leave this video off with saying that change is always going to ensue. No matter what, no matter how much you want ReZero and the community and so on and so forth to stay the same coddled up little thing, that's That's not going to happen. It is always going to grow. Change is always going to come. New jokes are always going to come, unless it's the Who's Rem joke, and they'll somehow manage to keep that here for infinite amount of years. But yeah, I mean, change is okay. And, it's learning to accept that change and, like I said, extrapolate the good from the bad that makes it so much more enjoyable. I guess you could say, to a degree, I myself used to stress about always being so overly analytical within my videos and, not having personality and, honing in on getting every single little piece of information right, to which it made the process of even talking about ReZero a bit exhausting, to say the least. And then I came to the realization that it's not that deep. It's just an anime. It's just a show. And it's always fun to engage with and talk about the community. Not that there can be problems with the community, because there definitely is within the ReZero community. Not everything is about always having to be serious, and you can engage with your series within a joking manner, such as, the Aura Monster thing, or the Natsuki Daniel thing, or the Happy Birthday thing, and so on and so forth. Although I will say about Natsuki Daniel, I'm pretty sure that did originate from AI, which is obviously frustrating and is not good. So I could see why a good amount of people have a problem with that one specifically. But the Aura Monster thing, that's silly, that's stupid, that's fun. I don't understand the hate towards it, honestly, besides the fact that it is definitely overplayed. I just think that, I think everyone should just love everyone. I know, what a raunching hot take. What a star-studded take. I'm sure not everyone's thought of that before, but anyways, I'm joking, obviously. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are excited for tomorrow's episode. I'm definitely excited. I am streaming the episode tomorrow, probably around 2:30 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. Be there or be square. Maybe I'll go ahead and get a cake, and have a Daniel's birthday party cake, or maybe I won't, who knows? I guess we'll see. Anyways, though, make sure you come and join. Make sure you leave a like. Make sure you follow. All those sort of things that give me engagement, selfish content creator. Anyways, though, guys, peace.